Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you about something that I relate to as new levels bring new devils, and how if we don't understand how pressure points work in our business and in our life, the likelihood is you're going to hit one of these pressure points and bounce back down, and even worse, quit. Quit on your family, quit on your dreams, quit on your business, and we cannot put ourselves in that position. You have to learn how to break through these pressure points. Now, before we go there, I'd just like to announce and remind you that our new Growth Club membership, training platform and secret community has now gone live, and we would welcome you into our Growth Club if you are serious about building, growing and scaling your trades or construction business. To discover more about our Growth Club, please click the membership link in the description and the show notes to this episode. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. Would you agree with me if I said that running a business is just like a roller coaster of emotion? 1 minute you're up and you're on a high, next minute somebody throws a curveball at you and you're down and things are a bit negative and a bit doom and gloomy, then you're up, then you're down, right? It is a roller coaster. To get from where you are now in your business, in your life, to where you ultimately want to be, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be positives and there's going to be negatives, right? That's just the way it is. But most business owners, and me included when I first set up my business back in 1994, we want to go from where we are now, at whatever level you're at, or whatever stage you're at in your journey, we want to go from where you are now right up to the top, right? And the success overnight. You see, you've got this vision of what you want to get out of your business and what it looks like. And you've got a vision of what your lifestyle is going to be. And too many people are trying to go from where they are now to where they want to be in one false swoop, which is creating new devils that are going to attack you along that journey and new pressure that you can't cope with in one false swoop. So in this episode, I want to teach you about the 3 levels of emotion that you're going to go through on this journey. The first level you'll understand, and the third level you'll understand. But there's a level in between those, level number 2, that you won't be aware of and you won't know how to get through. And it's that level that is the key to unlock your success. So my goal in this episode is to share with you what that second level is that everybody's missing, that's holding them and their business back from preventing them from getting to where they want to be. You need to understand how that level works and how the devils are going to appear at different levels and different pressure points along your journey. Now, I'm going to give you something here that most people will not want to hear and won't want to know. But we've got to be honest, we've got to be open, and we've got to be transparent. Building and growing and scaling a successful business that's going to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life is not easy. I'd love to be able to give you a magic pill, a silver bullet, or a magic wand to wave to get you from where you are to where you want to be in one false swoop. But in the 30 plus years I've been in business, honestly, I've experienced what I would consider just about every single positive and negative emotion to get to where I want to be. Now, people might look at me, well, they do because they tell me. They'll look at me and go, Craig, it's all right for you. You've got this, you've got that, you've got these businesses, you've got the house, you've got the car, you've got the lifestyle, you've got the team behind her. You know, I look at you and it's like, you've made it, you've got there, you're where you want to be. You're so lucky, everything you do turns to gold. You know, you come out and publicly announce that you're going to launch a brand new membership, training platform and secret community that's never been done in our industry before. And look what's happened. You've gone and launched it and it's sold out within a day. You're so lucky. And it's like, what? Are you serious? You look at the end result and you just see what happens above the surface. You've got no idea the emotion and the roller coaster that I've been on this last 12 months to launch this new level of membership. You've not seen what goes off behind the scenes. You've not seen what I've had to do and what I've had to go through for the last 30 long, hard years to get to where I am today. You've not seen me when I had sweet FA, when I didn't even have enough money to buy my kids some sandwiches, some bread and ham and cheese, literally, for the packed lunches. You never saw me when I went through a divorce and I were on my knees and I lost everything. You never saw all that. You never saw the sweat and the blood and the tears and the emotion and the stress and the anxiety that I've been through to get to where I want to be. All you see are the results, but you don't see what's gone before that to get to where I want to be. And if you do not understand that along that journey, there are 3 different levels, 3 different types of devils that you've got to slay along that way, and you don't understand pressure points and how pressure is either going to work as a positive or a negative to you, if you don't take on board what I'm going to share with you in this episode, I will tell you now, you will struggle to get from where you are now to where you want to be. Why? Because you don't understand the journey and you want success overnight. And unfortunately, in business, success doesn't come overnight. And even if it did, you will not be able to handle the devils, the levels, and the pressure that you would experience in going through where you are now to where you want to be overnight or within a month. You cannot cope with it. So in this episode, I want to share with you 30 years of experience in what I call emotional intelligence. And that is the psychology of how people's emotions change along this journey. And I'm going to share with you the 3 different types of emotions that you need to get through to get from where you are now to where you want to be. The first 2 you will know. You'll not need me to even tell you because you will be experiencing these emotions on your journey. But it's the second one, the emotion that sits in the middle of the 2 you already know, that if you don't understand how that works, you are going to struggle to get from where you are now to where you want to be. And it's taken me 30 years to get to that point. And it's taken me the last 18 years studying emotional intelligence and how psychology plays a massive part in your own success. So grab yourself your notepads, grab yourself your pen, get your tablets out, start making some notes, and let's get stuck in. Emotional level number 1 is what I call sadness. Write it down, sadness. Because along your journey, you are going to feel sad or maybe negative or maybe a bit doom and gloom along this journey. Why? Because there's going to be certain pressure points and certain devils that you meet along that journey that's going to knock the wind out of your sails. You see, there's certain things that happen in business and life that are outside your control that can have a negative effect on your business, negative effects on your mindset, and this then has a negative effect on your emotions and how you're feeling, and sadness starts to creep in. So things that are outside your control could be the economy, or politics, or HMRC increasing taxes. We've got things like recessions. We've even been through viruses that are outside of our control. And all these things can negatively impact our business. No fault of ours, no fault of his own, but it's a negative impact on our business, which eventually has a negative impact on your emotions. Likewise, there are things that are in control, that you are in control of, that might not go quite right, that have a negative effect on your emotions. And this could be things like, well, I've just invested 10 grand into a new website and paid ads, and none of it's worked, and now I'm 10 grand out of pocket. That's not going to be a very positive emotion, is it? It could be that you've employed the wrong members of staff, and now they're costing you time and money and a bit of stress along that way. It could be actually your number one person on the tools has handed the notice in, and now it's shit, what am I going to do? So there's certain things that are outside your control, but there's certain things that are in your control, but you make the wrong decisions, which comes back to bite you in the backside. Either way, these are all negative emotions that's going to have a level 1 emotion of sadness on you. So along my journey, right, I'm going to be honest with you, over the 30 years I've been in business, I felt sad and I felt alone in business. I've had no one to talk to, which has left me feeling empty inside, where I've had that horrible gut-wrenching feeling of emptiness inside, questioning what I'm doing. I've been depressed, I've had anxiety, and my nerves have been shot. I've been worried, I've been stressed, I've felt overwhelmed with what I've got in front of me. I've felt frustrated, I've been angry, I've fallen out of love with my business because it got too much for me. I've had the emotional feeling of guilt, that I'm inadequate, that I'm helpless. My business cost me my marriage, and I'm like, what the hell has gone off here? Why am I in this position? So when things are tough, you just want to pack it all in. You just want to scale this business back down, get rid of all that pressure, get rid of all that emotion. You want to throw the towel in, you want to quit, and sometimes that little devil hops up on your shoulder and starts telling you, you can't do this. You shouldn't have even gone into it. You should have listened to what other people are telling you. You've got limiting beliefs. You've got self-sabotage. And you're questioning yourself. What do I do? Why am I in this position? Why am I skint? Why ain't my marketing working? Why can't I just find trustworthy staff? Why can't I get these systems to work? I can't get this automation to fire. And all this pressure starts to mount on you, right? And you have the emotional, negative feeling of sadness. We've all been through it. And no doubt along your journey, you're going to meet sadness as an emotion along your journey. And we've just got to accept this as part and parcel of growth. Growth in yourself, growth in your business. We're bound to hit periods that don't go quite right. But for many of us, we do throw in the towel. We do quit on our dreams. We do quit on our family. We do quit on our business, and we take a backward step. We throw in the towel. The pressure's too much. The feelings too of sadness and emotion has got the better of you. So what do? You quit. Now, let's flip this to the other side. And I want you to write down emotional level number 3. Not number 2, number 3. And I call this emotional level happiness. Write down the word happiness. And when we're in a emotional level 3 state, this is what starts to happen. We just get momentum and we get motivation and passion is there and that dedication and that hunger to succeed. You start to get that feeling of accomplishment, that you are growing, that you are succeeding, that all this time and effort that you're putting in is now starting to work. You're going to start to feel proud. You're going to start to feel like you're reaching your full potential. You're going to start to fall more in love with your business and get more passionate about your business than ever before. Making those big decisions starts to get a little bit easier. You start to see that your marketing's working. You start to see that your bank balance is starting to go up a little bit. You start to see that the systems that you've been put in place are now starting to save you time. And all of a sudden, this feeling of happiness comes over you. And when that happens, everything starts falling into place. Running a business feels amazing. Life feels great. And when life and business feels good, everything around you starts to feel good. That happiness starts to creep in and you start to feel as though you're actually getting somewhere, you're making progress. Them dreams, that aspiration of what you're wanting to achieve now starts to feel like it's within touching distance. And now we're in a positive emotional state. Now, just like the emotion of level 1 sadness that I know if you're running a business that you've been through, you are going to also experience along your journey the level 3 emotion of happiness. And what you're going to do along that journey, you're going to flip between the two. Things are going right, curveball comes, boom, I'm down. I'm feeling a bit down on my luck, and now we're spiraling into a negative mindset. And we go through and we push through and we push through, and then months later, something happens, and then you're back up. And now you're happy again. And then the curveball comes at you, and then boom, you're back down, and then you're up and you're down and you're up and you're down. And what you're wanting to see throughout this is progress. You know that this is going to come. You know that you can't be super positive all the time. You know there's going to be some challenges along that way, and you want to see progress. And you're prepared to do that to get to where you want to be. But the sad reality is that the vast majority of business owners have progressed, but then they've hit a level where they just can't seem to get beyond. And it doesn't matter what emotion they go into, whether it's sadness or happiness, doesn't matter how much time and effort they're putting in. It's like they've hit an obstacle, they've hit a brick wall, they've hit an hurdle, and they can't seem to get the business to that next level. No matter what they try, no matter what they do, you just can't seem to push it to that next level. And the reason why you can't get it to that next level and you become stagnant and growth stops and you feel as though you've become stuck is because you are missing the emotional level number 2. And this emotional level took me years to work out, hang on a minute, what am I doing wrong? Because I am putting the graft in and I do sort of like take 5 steps forward, but then I take 10 steps back and I just can't seem to get to that next big point that I need to get to, that next big level that will unlock everything for me. I felt stuck. I felt trapped. And that in itself is frustrating as hell. But do you know what the real sad thing is? This was me like 20 odd years ago, where I got my business to a certain level, but I couldn't take it any further forward. And I just presumed, right, that's it. That's my capability. I've brought my business as far as it can go, whether that's down to my lack of knowledge or lack of learning new strategies, or whether in my mindset back then, it was just, look, Craig, you just don't have the luck. You don't have that minus touch that some people have. You know, some people, touch some things and they turn to gold. Just accept, Craig, that you haven't got that. It's not going to work. And where you're at now is all you can expect. And I'd almost succumbed to thinking that were it. I can't get it any further because I don't have the luck that some people have. But it's not about luck. It's about learning what level 2 is. And it's about learning new knowledge and new strategies and getting yourself fired up and motivated to take action on these strategies, but understanding that along that journey, new levels are going to bring new devils. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And then when I sat down and started working all this out, I'm like, actually, there is this other level and I understand what it is now. And if I can push through that level, I'm going to get into level 3, which is happiness. And when I get into level 3 happiness, that's when the growth, when the momentum builds. And that's when I can take things to a whole new level. So write this down, right? Emotional level 2 sits between level 1 and level 3. And if we can break through level 2 on a more consistent basis, the quicker it is we move to level 3 and the quicker our growth becomes. So level 2 is what I call pressure points. It's the emotional level of hitting pressure points. Now, before I explain to you how pressure points work, we first must understand the emotional feelings that we're going to have when we hit these pressure points. We've just covered all the different types of emotion that you're going to go through when you're sad. And we've just gone through all the emotions that you're going to go through when you're in happiness, right? Well, it's the same when you hit these pressure points. You're going to go through some emotions when we hit the pressure. So make a note of these, because it's these that you've got to break through that's going to get you to achieve success. Right, you ready? Number 1, procrastination, right? Because when you are in level 2, you're now procrastinating. Shall I do it? Shan't I do it? I've got to make this decision. I've got to make that decision. And what many of us do is we sit on that fence and we procrastinate for far too long. And naturally, when we procrastinate, the thing that we are focusing on is the negative outcome. If I make this decision and it doesn't work, what's going to happen? So you start focusing on the negative, and that procrastination then starts to hold you back. Number 2, limiting beliefs. The limiting beliefs that you are actually worthy and good enough to move to that next level. Yes, we all dream of having this lifestyle and this business, but actually getting there and the emotions that we've got to get through, you're going to have limiting beliefs and you're going to start questioning and asking yourselves questions along that way. Can I do it? Am I ready? Should I be doing it? Am I worthy of it? Am I clever enough to do it? Am I strong enough to do it? All these limiting beliefs are going to crop up. Number 3, imposter syndrome, where you're going to start talking yourself out of doing things, right? And that imposter's going to crop up on your shoulder and start chirping in your ear, and you're going to start listening to this imposter that's you. You are the imposter. You are stopping yourself. Number 4, you're going to be afraid. You're going to be scared of what could happen if you make the wrong decision. And we start to focus on the negative. Number 5, it's going to make you apprehensive and you're going to be cautious. And rightly so, we've got to be cautious in business. But if we're going to be apprehensive and procrastinating and sat on that fence and taking forever to make a decision, and that opportunity's passed, that's not going to move us forward. That's not going to get us into happiness, is it? Number 6, it's the fear, the big one, the fear of the unknown. You see, you've got to go through the emotion of fear because you're thinking, what happens if all this doesn't work? I'm fearful about moving to that next level. I've got to invest this amount of money. I've got to make this decision and take on another member of staff. I've got to now start investing into ServiceMate and Leadzilla. I've now got to start getting to grips with my numbers, and I'm scared of what them numbers are going to present for me. I'd rather just bury my head in the sand and pretend these numbers don't exist. You're fearful. That's what it all boils down to. It's the fear of what happens if this does not work. But let me tell you now, fear stands for false expectations appearing real. You see, you're conjuring all this procrastination, limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, afraid, you're apprehensive, you're fearful of moving forward. Why? Because you sat underneath this fucking comfort blanket. Well, let me tell you now, while ever you're sat underneath your comfort blanket, you are never going to break through to that next level and feel the happiness and get the results and the wins that you deserve, because you're underneath your comfort blanket, because you're scared and fearful of breaking through the pressure point that you're going to put yourself under. So what do? You don't do it. You dip your toe in it and you try it and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, so you come out of it. What I'm saying you've got to do, you've got to get out from underneath that comfort blanket. You've got to throw that comfort blanket in the skip. You've got to expose yourself to the devils and the pressure that, boom, come on, it's game on. I'm ready. Throw at me whatever you want to throw at me. I've developed myself. I've been working on my mindset. Nothing is going to stop me from achieving the goals and the success that I want and I deserve. So yeah, throw some challenges at me. Throw some obstacles at me. Put some spanners in the works. Throw some curveballs. But game on. I'm ready. And no matter what you throw at me, I am not going to quit. I am not going to break. I'm going to push through these pressure points and I'm going to kill the devil of procrastination. I'm going to kill the devil of limiting beliefs. I'm going to kill the devil of imposter syndrome. I'm going to kill the devil of being afraid. I'm going to kill the devil of being apprehensive. And I'm going to kill the devil of fear. That's where we need to be. But too many people are sat underneath the comfort blanket and are not prepared to put themselves through these emotional feelings and break through the pressure points to get to that next level. No, what most people are wanting is a quick fix, is a magic wand, is a silver bullet, is a magic pill, and they do not exist. The only way you are going to get from where you are now to that next level is going through emotional level two and understanding that you are going to have to go through some pressure points and you are going to have to kill off a number of different devils that are there to stop you and prevent you from moving forward. Well, listen, this is why I get success. It's not that I'm lucky. It's not that I've got the Midas touch. It's not that whatever I touch turns to gold. It's because I've personally developed myself. I've worked on my mindset for the last 18 years. You know my routines. I've got morning routines. I've got evening routines. I teach all this. I teach you about developing a positive mindset. So for me, it's like, I know that for me to move to that next level, I've got to go through some pressure points and I've got to deal with procrastination. I've got to deal with limiting beliefs. I've got to deal with that imposter syndrome. I've got to deal with being afraid. I've got to deal with being apprehensive. I've got to deal with the fear of launching a new level of membership, launching a groundbreaking platform, launching a secret community that's never been done in the trades or construction industry. It's never been done before. And let me tell you now, over this last 12 months since I announced I were going to do this, I've procrastinated. I've had limiting beliefs. I've had that imposter syndrome. I've been afraid. I've been apprehensive. And I've been fearful, but I tell you something, it's not fucking stopped me from getting to where I want to be, because I've got a bulletproof mindset and nothing is going to stop me. But I understand pressure points are going to be there. Why? Because I'm moving up to a complete new level that I've never been to before. So new levels are going to uncover new devils, a new problem, a new challenge, a new obstacle, a new wall that I've got to get over. But the difference between me and some people is I will be relentless and I will chew that fucking wall down with my bare hands and my teeth if I know that my success is on the other side. So I know that I've got to go through this emotional roller coaster. I know that it's not going to feel particularly nice, but unless I go through it, I'm not going to get to the other side. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is where most people don't get. Because what most people want to do is they want to go from feeling sad to happiness and have all that success, but they are not prepared to break through these pressure points and they're not prepared to slay these devils. Well, listen, you've got to do it because that's progress. That's how life works. That's how business works. So when people see me doing well and when people think, oh, everything he touches turns to gold, I know behind the scenes what I've had to do and what I've had to get through to get to that level. Are you with me? And nothing's going to stop me. Nothing will stop me. Why? Because I've got a bulletproof mindset. So when these emotions come and you're feeling under pressure and overwhelmed and nervous and questioning, am I doing the right thing? That's telling me that you're at a new pressure point. And if we can break through that pressure point and give it one big push to get through, on the other side is the win. On the other side is the result. On the other side is success and progress. But the challenge is most people start to feel uncomfortable. They start to get overwhelmed. And they start to feel fearful and afraid and have limiting beliefs, and this imposter comes out and that stops them from pushing through. Well, we can't do that, can we? We've got to push through these pressure points. Business and life is not easy. We have to understand that we are going to go through emotional level 2 to get to level number 3. Now, based on what I've just shared in the previous chapter, there are 3 episodes that I want you to go back and listen to after you've completed this one. The first one is episode number 9, because in episode number 9, I'm teaching you how to develop a positive, bulletproof growth mindset to achieve success. Episode number 10 is how to create a powerful morning and evening routine to change your life. And episode 44 is all around imposter syndrome, how to stop sabotaging your own business growth. So I'd encourage you at the end of this episode to go back and listen to those 3 because they tie into this episode. Now, if you are a Growth Club member, you can go into our classrooms section and we've got a full-blown course on mindset and personal development where you can work through that course and take things to a whole new level. So I've explained what a pressure point is in terms of emotion, but I want to share with you and explain how pressure points actually work. So what I want you to do is grab a notepad and a pen, and I just want you to draw a horizontal line across your piece of paper. And what I want you to imagine is that horizontal line is a line of soil, like in your garden, right? And below that line is the soil level that you cannot see. You can only see the grass, you can only see your turf, let's say. You've got absolutely no idea what's happening underneath that soil line. The only thing that you see is what pops through that soil line. Maybe a flower, maybe a tree starting to grow. You only see the results. You only see what's on top of that soil line. You've got no idea what's happening underneath it. Now think about this. I want you to think of that soil line as being your business. And below the soil line, you are planting lots of different seeds in your business. So maybe you're planting the seed of, I need to start working on my numbers, right? So you plant that seed below that soil line and you start working on it. You're not seeing any results yet because you're only just starting to work on your profit strategy. So there's no results to see, but you're working on it. You're watering that seed. Then you might plant another seed, and that might be a marketing strategy seed. And now you know that you've got to start improving your marketing. So you start creating content, building websites, building landing pages, building lead magnets, shooting videos, and you're putting all that effort into and watering that marketing strategy seed. Then over here, you might plant another seed. And that seed might be your systems that you need to run and automate your business. So with that seed, you might go and set up a ServiceMate account and start getting used to how ServiceMate works. You might go and set up a Leadzilla marketing and sales funnel account, and you start working on building your sales funnels out, and you're watering that seed and you're putting time and effort into that. It might be, okay, over here now, when as marketing works, we've got to start to think about employing new staff. So over here, you might plant another seed, and that could be, right, I'm going to have to outsource a lot of the low value tasks, and I'm going to have to find an admin person or a VA. So you start watering that seed. You also know that you've got to take on another engineer or another fitter. So you need to start getting your rules of the game together, getting your vision, your mission, your culture statements together, and everything that you need, contracts of employment. And you put that seed into your soil and you're watering that. Are you with me? So below that soil line, you're going to be working on lots and lots of different areas of your business. But you're not seeing the results yet because nothing's popped through. All you're doing is watering them seeds, and them seeds are below the soil line, slowly growing. But as well as having business seeds that you're planting, you've also got a life, haven't you? So as well as running this business, you've also got a family life perhaps, and hobbies. So again, below that soil line, you're planting seeds with your family, such as, I take my son to football training on a Tuesday night and play football on a Sunday morning. Right, so you're planting that seed, and that seed needs watering. I might take my daughter to gymnastics and dance. Right, that seed needs watering. Right, my husband, my wife, my partner, we need a date night. Right, so that seed needs planting. Right, I need to go to gym 3 times a week, so that seed needs planting. So all of a sudden, you've planted all of these different seeds under your soil line. And with the 168 hours of your week that you have, you've got to invest an element of time to all these different seeds. And you've got to make sure that each one of these seeds are getting enough water, enough attention, so that each seed starts to flourish and starts to grow. But here's what starts to happen. Go back to your soil line that you've written down now, you've drawn horizontally on your paper. You can't see how them seeds are growing because you're stood above on that soil line. And all you keep doing is looking down at the ground. And you keep putting time and effort and passion into your business. And you're working on your marketing, you're working on your systems, you're working on employing a new team, you're working on learning the numbers and increasing profit margins. You're working on all this. And then you're still working on all your family and your hobby stuff. And all that lot becomes exhausting. All that lot becomes tiring. All that lot becomes a bit overwhelming because there's all these seeds that we've got to continue to water. But again, you're stood on the top of the soil looking down and going, fucking hell, when am I going to see a result? I'm constantly watering these seeds. I'm constantly feeling overwhelmed. I'm constantly feeling pressure. I'm constantly got anxiety. I'm feeling overwhelmed with everything that I'm doing, and I can't see any results. And the more you water it and the longer it takes without you seeing anything popping through, the more pressure is mounting. And here's what happens. Most business owners, when they start to feel that pressure, they start to look at it as a negative. Now, disclaimer, I am not saying that pressure is good for your health, your mindset, and your well-being. I'm not saying that. And there's certain circumstances where our mental health and well-being is more important. However, if we're going to grow our business, we've already established that we're going to have to go and slay a few devils, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, and we're going to be a bit fearful, which means we're going to start to feel overwhelmed. Now, here's the difference. Most people are looking down, experiencing all this overwhelming feeling. So what do? When that overwhelming feeling gets a little bit too much to cope with, what do? That imposter wins. And they say, listen, it's never going to happen. You're not good enough. You're not clever enough. You didn't invest enough money. You ain't got the right strategy. You've not dedicated enough time to it. Right? That's what's going to happen. And you're going to listen to that devil that's chirping on your shoulder, and you're going to go, oh, it feels like too much, this. So what do? You take your foot off the gas, you stop watering your seeds, and what happens then is all that hard work that you've done drops off. So in other words, you're coming up to that pressure point that's the soil line, and you know you've got to break through that pressure point, but the overwhelming feeling is too much. The pressure starts mounting, so what do? As you start to hit that pressure point, it bounces back down. Now, what I'm saying is, the difference between bouncing back down and what I do is completely different. You see, I've been in this game for 30 plus years, and I've been at more pressure points than I know anybody else has ever been to. And I used to do the exact same. I'd hit the pressure point and I'd bounce back down. I'd take my foot off the gas. And what I'd do is I'd change my strategy. I'd go back underneath my comfort blanket and I'd sit there for another 6 to 12 months. But then the entrepreneur inside comes back out again and I go again 6 to 12 months later. But the same thing happens. I experience the pressure. I experience the overwhelming feeling. I don't like it. It feels uncomfortable. So I bounce back down again and I get underneath my comfort blanket. Now, for you that are listening to this, that feel like you've took your business as far as you can, and you're just not breaking through to that next level, you're stagnant, you've hit a brick wall, that's exactly what's happening. And that's why you've hit that brick wall. Because when you go for it, the pressure comes that much that you take your foot off the gas and you get back underneath your comfort blanket. Well, here's the difference between that scenario and what I do. I used to do that until I realised that I am going to get level 2 emotions, and my business is going to make me feel like this, uncomfortable, fearful and overwhelming. And I am going to get these devils popping up on my shoulder. But if I let that control me, I'm never going to break through to that next level. So let me tell you now what I do. And I've been through this, particularly this last 4 months, in all honesty. Launching this new growth club, platform and secret community, the amount of work that me and my team have had to do behind the scenes and what time, effort and money we've invested into this. I felt that pressure this last 4 months. Now, what I would have done years ago is I'd have hit that pressure point, bounced back down, and I'd have failed. But I've been doing this long enough to know that when I start to feel this particular type of pressure, what I need to do is I need to get my sprinting shoes on, get my head down and charge like a fucking charging rhino to break through that pressure point. Because for many of you, you've given up 2 millimeters away from breaking through. If you'd have only had one final big push, if you'd have only carried on for another week or two, you'd have broke through that pressure point, you'd have seen and witnessed a result and a triumph and a win, you'd have seen the sprouts of that flower or that tree popping through on the other side, and that's when you know you're at a next level, but you didn't. the pressure was overwhelming, so you bounce back down 2 millimeters away from breaking through. So when I feel like that, I'm almost through. What I need to do now is have one more big push. And if I give it a big push and I break through and I see the result and I can see them sprouts popping through on the top of that soil, that's the win. That's the result. And from that point, I'm at a new level. You see what I'm saying? Which is why if you listen to any of my coaching or training that's inside the Growth Club, or you're one of my Inner Circle members and you do live coaching with me, you will see behind me in my studio, I've got rhinos on the wall. I've got ornaments of rhinos. I've got pictures of rhinos. Why? Because that relates to me. That's like, right, Craig, the pressure's on. Get your head down. Stop being... I don't want to say that word, but stop being a loser, right? Stop being a loser. Get your fucking head down, man, right? And one big more push. Charge like that rhino and smash that wall down. And I do. And that's how I get results, because I'm prepared to do what other business owners aren't prepared to do, and that's break through those pressure points. Now, I've been in that uncomfortable feeling hundreds of times over the last 30 years. The first 12 of them years, I'd hit that pressure point and I'd bounce back down. The last 18 years, it's game on. Because I know when I'm feeling that pressure point, all I've got to do is get my head down, one last push, I break through, and when I break through, I'm on a new level. And when I get to that new level, I can take my foot off the gas, I can have a breather, I can enjoy the win, celebrate the win, because I'm at that next level. Then what I do is I set the plan again, I get my head down, I'm going to go again, and I know that there's going to be another pressure point in X amount of time, but I now know how to deal with them, and I now know how to break through them. And I want you to understand that second level. So next time you're going for it, I want me ringing in your ears going, right, I've planted that seed, they're starting to grow, I can't see the results yet, but I know that if I stick at it and I don't quit and I don't listen to that devil and I kill that devil and I get my head down, one more push, that you will break through and you will get to that next level. So now we know about pressure points and how they work. I want you to now imagine a staircase. And if you've still got your notepad or pen, literally draw a staircase, right? Little boxes, little rises and little treads going up, right? And I want you to think that wherever you are right now in your business, on your journey, whatever level you're at, I want you to draw yourself at the bottom of the staircase. Then what I want you to do is, right at the very top of the staircase, I want you to write down your vision, your wins, what it is you're doing all this for, what's your purpose, what's your why, what does it all look like, your business, when it's done, built, finished? What are you doing all this for? What is it to give you, right? Do you want the money? Do you want the materialistic things? You know, are you doing it for your family? Are you doing it for your own self-esteem and your own ability to reach your full potential? Why are you doing it? Write that at the top of the staircase. Now, what I've been sharing with you throughout the whole of this episode so far is business owners want to go from the bottom riser all the way up to the top nosing right on the top of that staircase. And they want to do that in one false swoop. But each one of those treads on that staircase, I want you to imagine, is a new level, is a pressure point. Now, on a standard staircase, there's 13 risers. So let's say there's 13 levels, hypothetically, to get from where you are now to where you want to be. Each one of those treads is a new level. So in this case, you've got to get up 13, let's say, treads and risers to get to the top of your staircase. Now, you can't go from the bottom to the top in one false swoop. Because imagine all of the different strategies, all of the different knowledge, all of the different learnings, all of the finance, all of the time that it's going to take you to build and grow and scale that business to the point that you want to get it to is going to take more than a month. It's going to take more than a year. So you've got to accept that along this journey to get from the bottom of the staircase to the top, you've got to go through some pressure points. But we now know that each pressure point, right, is a step on that staircase. It's a level up. Now, as your coach, what my job is to do in the Growth Club and as an inner circle member is my job is to give you all the knowledge and all the strategies to get you from one tread to the next tread, from one step to the next step, from one level to the next level, is give you the knowledge so you don't have to work it out yourself, that speeds up the journey, because it's the knowledge, it's the strategies that you're lacking. So I give you the strategies to speed the journey up. I also help you get fired up and motivated to take action on the knowledge that you're learning, which speeds the journey up. What your job is to do is implement the strategies that I'm teaching you, but now we bear in mind that along that journey, you're going to encounter some pressure points. And what I tell my inner circle members, which I do on the introduction session before we even start the coaching program, is I say to them, I explain all this to them. And I say, you're going to hit pressure points. You're going to feel like packing up. You're going to say, I can't afford it. I ain't got the time. You're going to make all these excuses, but that's the devil that we've got to kill. Now you know this, all your job is to do is take the strategies, take that energy and motivation, put it into the strategies I teach you, be aware that we are going to hit some pressure points, don't bottle it, get your head down and push through. So my job as your coach is not to get you from the bottom of the staircase to the top in one false swoop, because you can't deal with it. You can't deal with the time. You can't deal with the finance. You can't deal with the headspace. You can't deal with the anxiety, the pressure, the stress, the overwhelm. It's bad enough getting from one level to another, not 13 levels in one false swoop. Do you get me? So you now got to understand that pressure is not always a negative emotion and emotional feeling. However, mental health and well-being has to come into this. But if we can break through, all my job is, as your coach, is to get you from the first step to the second step. And when we're on the second step, that means we've broken through a pressure point. We get to that second step, we regroup, we have a breather, we celebrate the win, we have a look at where we are, we look at where we've come from and measure the progress. Then what we do, as and when you've got the energy back, we say, right, are we ready to go again? And it's like, yeah, right, Craig, tell me what I need to do now. So I say, right, to get to that second step, that second level, you need to go away and now do this. You get yourself fired up, you get your head down, you do what I tell you to do. You feel pressure, we break through it, boom, now we're up to that next step. We get to that next step, that next level, it's right, hang on, have a breather, let's regroup, let's celebrate the win, let's look at where we've come from. Now let's regroup, put the plan in place, right, Craig, what's next? Right, just go and do that. And once you've broken through 2 or 3 of them pressure points with the strategies that I give you, this then starts to become second nature. It's just like a formula. You get your head down, you implement what I teach you, you feel the pressure point, you break through, we have a breather, we go again. And all my job is to get you from one step to the next. And as long as you are consistent and you do that, over a period of time, we'll get from the bottom to the top. But you can't go from the bottom to the top in one go because you can't handle the pressure. And this is why my Inner Circle marketing and business coaching program is a 12-month program. Because for me to have any chance of getting you from the bottom to the top, we're going to need 12 months. Are you with me? So we've got to stop thinking that this is something that you can do overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. And now you understand that level 2 emotion is a pressure point, and you now know that it's not all negative, and we can break through and chuck our comfort blanket away. And we know now that all we've got to do is get from one step, one tread, one riser at a time. As long as you stay consistent, you'll get from where you are now to where you want to be. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, there is always another staircase appear. You see, people said to me, Craig, you've cracked it. Surely at the top of your staircase. And maybe I am if I want to take my foot off the gas. But me being me, it's like constant, never-ending self-improvement and pushing myself and reaching my full potential. So when I get to the top of one staircase that might take me 2 years, what I'll do, and this fits nice with being a joiner that used to manufacture staircases, I manufacture a new staircase and I put a new staircase up, and now I'm looking at another level. Are you with me? It never ever stops. You never get to where you want to be because there's always something we can improve on. There's always some new technology that's come out or a new goal that we can set ourselves. And that is why I'm relentless in pursuit of success. It never ever stops. Here are your action tasks from this episode. What I'd like you to do is either head over to our free Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community, or if you're a Growth Club member, go into our secret community. And what I want you to do, I want you to tag me in. I want you to tell me that you've listened to episode number 50. But what I'm interested to know is, what does that next level look like for you? In other words, what area of your business are you going to water and work on and break through to get to that next level? Is it your marketing strategy? Is it your cash and finance? Is it your systems and procedures? Is it networking? Is it sales? Is it customer service? Is it mindset and personal development for you personally? So the links to both of those communities can be found in the show notes and the description of this episode. But come and tell us what you're going to work on next. Tag me in. Let's hold you accountable for making sure that you can get to that next level. What I'd also like you to consider doing is, whatever platform you are listening to this audio podcast on, could I please ask you to consider hitting the follow and the subscribe button? Because the more people that follow this episode and our podcast, the algorithm will pick that up and it'll start pushing our episodes out to more trades and construction business owners. And as you now know, our mission is to help 1 million trades and construction business owners achieve time and financial freedom. Now, as I normally do at the end of each one of these episodes, I leave it with a quote. Now, this is not one of my quotes. This is one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s quotes that fits very nicely with what we've just shared. And that quote is this. I absolutely love it. He says, "You don't have to see the full staircase. All you have to do is take the first step." So I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.